Making my way downtown, walking fast,
What? Not
faces
a Taylor
past, and
Swift
I'm
song?
homebound. You know what? Just before I started this, I thought about singing Taylor Swift, but
Are you tired of it?
I was keeping it topical to Love Island because they did play an acoustic version of A Thousand Miles
Yeah, I
at some
remember that.
point. So, but I could have done Taylor. So I went to the Taylor Swift Eras tour last night in Miami, y'all. And
Woo! Turn up, turn up.
I'll get to it. But before I get into the Taylor Swift concert, we haven't recorded it in a minute. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
it's been 2 weeks almost.
2 weeks, maybe.
2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been a long time for us because we usually record twice a week.
Yeah.
And then like
The we recorded on a Sunday, and that following Wednesday, a hurricane came, and operations were down really until this past Monday. Then I
they
got
were.
sick. A lot of things happened. Let's talk
Yeah,
about Hurricane Milton. Milton gonna ruin us.
but for real. But before that, hey y'all, I'm Brandon.
Oh, I'm Magdala. Hello. Welcome
Welcome to
back.
the shade of it all.
Welcome back.
Um, yeah, so we've really been struggling to record, but
Yeah.
we make it through because, as y'all know, Hurricane Milton, we were thankful to not suffer too many damages or anything
Mm-mm.
in
Yeah.
our area, which is nice. I know a lot of people were, so that sucks. And two hurricanes back to back, it literally is astonishing. But I know because
Yeah.
it like shifted at one point because it was supposed to come straight for Tampa and then it
It
like
moved
went
a
more
little.
south, which I
Yeah,
feel
it
like is
was
what
like
always happens with Tampa.
whenever a hurricane. No, Tampa has been overdue because
Oh,
several hurricanes were supposed to come and hit Tampa directly, and they've gone to other places. I remember Hurricane Andrew. This was probably before I was born. Was supposed to hit Tampa. Charlie wasn't supposed to hit my hometown, which was like Charlotte County in the South. So hurricanes are very unpredictable, but this one was particularly scary. So the one that came before was Helene. Helene did some damage. A lot of people's houses were flooded. Kind of anyone who lived along the water, a lot
mm-hmm.
of people lost their houses completely. And so naturally, what you do is you take all of your debris, you put it on the side of the street so that they can come pick it up and you can start over, basically. Well, Milton comes like a week later, so not a whole lot got cleaned up. and
No.
and it was like tense from the beginning. I didn't know about it until Monday, or I guess I didn't know about it until Sunday, and then it was coming Wednesday. And on Monday, people are freaking out. If you watch the news, they're like, category 5, leave, evacuate if you can. If you wait until Tuesday, you'll be stuck on the highway. Fear
The
is
mayor, wasn't
contagious.
she like, if you don't leave the evacuation zones, you're gonna
You're gonna
die?
die.
Like literally people in like other states were like talking about like, oh my gosh, we are looking out for Florida. Like this is so
Yeah.
scary. And I'm like, it is scary, but it was just like it was so much. It felt like it was going to be like the end of the world.
No, it really did. It was reminiscent of COVID for that week because, like, Monday came, both Brandon and I kind of work in a hybrid environment. So at work, they're like, take care of what you need to, and then,
But still
prioritize
clock
work
in.
second. Yeah. So I was like, what do you mean prioritize second? And then so they're basically like, at least for my job, they're like, do what you need to on the clock. So I like went into Aldi and I got food. I asked Obi what he wanted. I got what we needed. And then I was like, okay, we're good food wise. Then they send this list and it's like all the things you should do before a hurricane. And it was like prepare to not have power, freeze tubs of ice so that when your fridge goes out, you can put the ice in the fridge. So we had like 5 blocks of ice getting
Oh my
frozen.
gosh.
They're like, clean your house because whatever mess you start with, you have to live with. So I washed all my laundry. I mopped. I was like cleaning everything. I was like preparing because I'm not in an evacuation zone, but I was just preparing to be without power.
Yeah.
But all of the because at this point, everything you turn on is going to be about Hurricane Milton and what you should do and everything, and it was just so overwhelming. When I did have a moment to work, I couldn't focus. I was like, this is a lot.
No, I was like freaking out at night, but I'm not in an evacuation zone, so it would have been fine to like stay. And we have her hurricane proof windows and like glass, like it would
Mm-hmm.
be fine, but I was still like freaking out. And then it
Mm-hmm.
like so we were prepared. I had gas in my car. Tell me how, oh my God, my mom one
I
morning,
remember you told me
it
this.
might have been Wednesday morning, maybe it was Tuesday morning. I'm like, I get up it's like I don't know, 8:30. I'm getting water. She's like, "Who's that?" As if uh, who someone's getting water. Like,
Oh,
who do you think?
she was on edge. Who's in my house? Milton is
I'm,
coming.
I'm
No
like,
surprises.
it's either my father or me. Who would just get water? Anyways, so I'm like, it's me, and she's like, "Come here," and I'm like, "Okay." And then
Not
she's
come
like, "Do
here.
you have gas in your car?" And I'm like, "I
Mm-hmm.
think I should have almost a full tank. Like I only drove a little bit since I recently filled up, or I thought I forgot. I drove more than I thought I did because they had
Yeah.
me drive the weekend before. Um, but she's like, you need to make sure, Brandon, like get gas because if we have to make it out, we have to take your car to pick up the grandmas and everything. Because my
Why? Doesn't
parents
your dad have a truck?
he does, but it's not spacious. And then their other car is
Oh,
small. It's like a two-door old car, like Mercedes. And it's just they're getting a new car at some point. But I'm like, my car isn't even that big. So I'm like, when did I become the getaway car? Like,
yeah,
when did
your
this
car
come to
is
me?
not a sedan, is your getaway car.
Right? I'm
That's
like,
not a
it's a
good car.
hatchback, but barely. Like, what are we doing? And so I'm like, are you kidding me?
Now, basically, it's your responsibility. If we don't get the grandmamas, it's your fault.
That part. I'm like, where are we gonna go to? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that was the scary part too, because a lot of people are like, all right, have a bag, get a bag ready just in case you need to leave. And I'm like, in the event I would have to leave, detrimental things would be happening, right? We'd be flooded or something, and I'd have to leave and go where? Like, go to the roof? I don't know. That's confusing too.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed
And
to
there's
do?
not,
But
sorry, where are the like solutions or like anything? Like
yeah,
going on the news and saying you're gonna die if you don't get out isn't productive at all, and
not
it's just
all.
putting fear in people. I didn't like that at all. But anyways,
No, I agree
um,
with you. It was not very
it
helpful.
wasn't. And so I wait to get, I'm like, look, people are still probably going to work. I think it was Tuesday. I'm like, people are still probably going in office if they have to and stuff. Let me wait till like 9:30 to like try and go get gas. I
Oh,
try, there's no gas
gas.
anywhere. I
Oh.
had to drive maybe like 15 minutes out and I found one, so it wasn't too
Hmm.
far. I had less gas than I thought I did. I only had like half a tank, but I had
Oh.
forgotten how much I had to drive at one point. I was like, "Oh, well, good thing." I
Yeah.
mean, at this rate, I was fine, but
Yeah.
regardless, so I get gas and I let my mom know. And I get home, I'm like, I went and got gas. I got a full tank in case. And she's like, "Oh, we won't need to evacuate." I'm like,
Maybe between her scaring you and you leaving and returning, she figured out that y'all were probably fine. But yeah, no, it's fear is contagious. I know that for sure.
I
And
was like, you did not just put fear into my heart at 8 a.m. only for 2 hours later to be like, why'd you get gas?
why'd you do that? Why'd
Why
you
would you
drive
do
20
that?
minutes?
But the storm hit, it came earlier than expected too.
Oh, really? I thought it was always Wednesday. Oh, it was like earlier
It
on
was supposed
Wednesday.
to
It
be
was
like
like Wednesday.
2 a.m. Tuesday, and it kind of
Yeah.
started like late Wednesday.
Yeah.
We lost power at like 8:30, and then we had a generator, so the next day we were able to do that, which was fine. But then we got power back Friday. So that was
Hmm.
good. That was
Yeah.
nice. But then I didn't get Wi-Fi back until like sometime Monday,
Hmm.
which, first world problems, but it was nice to get it
Yeah.
back because I was like, we can't watch anything because everything's so like fucking internet. like
Yeah.
Spectrum and everything.
No.
And then I was
You're
trying
kind
to
of
use
lost
like
without
our
internet.
hotspots. And my dad was like, you can't use the hotspot that much because it's using the data. And I'm like, I thought we had unlimited data. What am I supposed to do?
That's a
Um,
scam.
it really is. Um, so regardless, thankful, it could have been a lot worse and it wasn't. But then also on top of that, I got food poisoning.
What?
Um,
When?
remember earlier this
Oh, before the hurricane.
no, after the hurricane. Remember I told you I felt really
Oh, yeah.
sick? And
Yeah.
if you've listened to one of our first episodes of the podcast, I had an experience where I thought I was going to pass out and um got very pasty, sweaty and um faint.
What, what
That
do you think
happened
it
again.
was?
I think it was Pizza Hut wings because we had some family
Oh.
come over Sunday and they ordered it and I ate it and I was like,
They
I
came
know this is
over when
gonna
y'all
get
didn't
me
have
sick.
electricity?
Well, we had it at that point on Sunday because we got the electricity
Oh,
back
back
Friday. The
Friday.
Wi-Fi
Okay,
we
okay.
didn't get back until Monday. But they
I
came
understand.
because we had family who they weren't getting power back at all, and there was something wrong, I think, with their generator. So
Oh,
we were giving them some like little AC thing we had. But then they
yeah.
stayed, and then we had some other family in town, and they ordered the wings, and I knew it was gonna make me sick, but I was just like, you know what? I'm still gonna eat them because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Dang.
and then I just felt so like it was so bad on Monday. And then honestly, I didn't feel that great the rest of the week. But
Yeah.
then Maggie got sick. We've been running through it, y'all.
No, we have been. I think I've learned a lot about myself this week. But I think being overwhelmed all week, because it's like you're overwhelmed before the storm and honestly kind of after the storm, because it's like, all right, well, like, what's open? Can we leave? Oh, they're like, stay in your house still, flash floods afterwards, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay. So I was like stressed out for a whole week. And then I got to work on Monday, stressing more because now there's a lot of stuff piled up that we have to do. And I think I just like overwhelmed myself to the point where I was just exhausted and felt sick. My sleep schedule was off because I think both nights before the storm, I was up all night watching the news. So I wasn't sleeping well either. And I think
Yeah.
just exhaustion and stress hit me. And I was like, no, I need a day.
Yeah, I feel that. I think it's a very mentally taxing time.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'm thankful I did not get even any real damage at all.
yeah.
Had power for most of the time. Like really nothing affected here, but it was just a sheer like anticipation for something bad to happen, you know?
It
That was
was.
enough. That was
Yeah.
enough.
And there was a while after, because in my neighborhood, there was a lot of trees that fell down and stuff like
Hmm.
that. We had a lot of like branches and stuff in our yard we had to pick up the next
Yeah.
day. But
Yeah.
for the most and just like the roads, like the lights weren't working, so the roads were kind of crazy. So a
Oh
lot of
my
people were
gosh.
trying not to
Yes.
drive and like gas stations, there was lines everywhere.
Oh,
Just a
that
lot.
part. Yeah. Thankfully, I had gas beforehand. But yeah, just driving around, like it seemed like in my general area, power was not lost. Most businesses reopened on Thursday afternoon-ish. But I
Hmm.
went in the other direction and just to see what was open, what was around, and it was pitch black. It was kind of scary. Like for blocks, you couldn't see anything. No street lights.
Oh God.
And it was just weird, like several blocks were just blacked out. So I was like, dang, this is crazy. And my boss was doing a conference in Paris last week. So when she came back, she said flying over Tampa at night, you could see how dark it was. So a lot
Yeah.
of people were affected by that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
these
the
past,
airports were crazy too before because people were trying to get out. It was,
you're like, we're closing on Wednesday.
yeah,
You're
it
out of
was a
luck.
lot.
It was a
Um,
lot.
I will say, one thing I found cringe is a bit of the tone deaf social media posting certain people will do on like
Yeah.
Instagram. And
Yeah.
the fact that I saw two stories in a row of people taking a picture of like a body of water or like a building and being like or nature and being like the calm after the storm.
Like, get off of your phone. Mine was the
Fucking
opposite.
spare me. What are you talking about? Get the
Mine was
fuck
the
out of here.
That's so funny. Mine was the opposite. Granted, I wasn't on much afterwards, but on Wednesday and Tuesday particularly, people are like, thanks to everybody who's been calling and texting me. I'm not in an evacuation zone, so I don't have to leave, and that's why I'm staying. The governor said this. I know she said you'll die, but I'm not gonna die. And like three, like some people like actually recording themselves talking, some people just posting, and I'm like, how many people are checking up on you? Because I have my phone has not blown up
You're
actually.
like, this is so interesting. I maybe got one or two,
Yeah,
maybe.
like I spoke to a cousin and she's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, just hunkering down." And she's like, "I don't miss that." And that was kind of it, you know. And
Right.
then me making sure my parents were good, but other than that, it's like,
Yeah.
how
I
many
saw a
people
lot
are
of stuff
calling and
on
texting
TikTok
you?
where people were like, a lot of viral people going talking about either why they're not evacuating because people are like, I don't
Yeah.
understand how if you're in like Florida or if you're in Tampa, how you're not leaving.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
like,
it's like,
okay, well,
no, it's
you
it's
don't get it.
counterintuitive. If you can stay in a house without power, you can't stay in a
Yeah,
house that's flooded. There's a difference.
exactly. There's a difference in the evacuation zones, like we said, and flood zones and all that.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta
but
heed those, but other than that. But I did love the TikToks of people in the storm. That was
oh yeah,
crazy.
they're like
Did you
Floridians
see?
during a hurricane.
Yes, there was one guy who was like doing like a Michael Jackson impression in the rain.
Oh
Some
my
people were
God.
doing like some like dance scenes, and I was like, we can't, we're the new adults and we're very funny. My brother, he's like further super North Florida, so they weren't affected. During the storm, he called me, he's like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, we're fine." And he's like, "Go outside and take a," I was like, "Go outside?
What?
You're crazy." Obi was
Right?
driving me fucking crazy, Brandon. This man opened our patio door. I can't tell you how many times. Like you hear the wind coming and going, and Obi wants to go outside and look. And I'm like, there's nothing to see. Stay
What do you want to
inside.
see? It's wind.
Exactly. Or he'd go to the window or he'd go out the front door. And I'm like, sir, you know the worst place to be is near like a window or a screened patio. Like let some debris come hit you and then we have a problem. Like I'm
I
not going
can't.
outside for any reason. But
Right.
yes, thankfully that's over-ish. I saw they said some storms are brewing, but I'm not gonna pay attention to it until my job sends me an email about it because
Right.
I'm
Because people were
I'm
trying to say like
overwhelmed.
immediately after Milton there was going to be one. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll find out when we find out.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Keep us
Florida,
posted.
y'all.
Welcome to Florida.
But on a lighter note, I did see Taylor Swift last night.
Taylor Swift. How was it? So did you make bracelets?
We did make some bracelets.
Did
Um,
you?
I went with Gia and her sister and their partner, and they were making bracelets in the back seat.
Gia has a sister?
She has three sisters.
Oh wow.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't
there's a
even know
bug.
her.
Not this bug that's returning from the last one.
That's so funny.
Um,
He's like, I'm back, bitch. Thought
right?
you missed me.
But yeah, so we drove to Miami. We went to the Miami night one. I wasn't aware that this was her first night like back, starting like the second leg of the Eras tour.
I wasn't either. And then I saw people posting and I was like, oh, this is a big deal.
It
You got
was,
probably like the freshest, best version of Taylor Swift.
I guess so. And I mean, she was great. Like, I mean, I didn't pay for the ticket because the thing is,
Oh.
Gia and her sisters had bought tickets like a year ago, or at least earlier this year, maybe late last year. I don't know. And one of them didn't want to go and was just like, "Here, take the ticket and you don't have to pay for like me."
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
"Okay." I mean, they paid. They got a I mean, it was expensive. It was like 250, but granted how much a lot of people are probably paying, I feel like it's not the most expensive, but still is expensive. So,
Yeah.
I was just like, "Okay, I'm just here for the ride, you know?
Yeah.
I'm here to go." And then um we drove in Friday around like 10, maybe closer to 11-ish by the time because we had to circle back because Gia had left her boots at home. It's okay, Gia, we forgive you.
Wait,
Um,
how her boots, like cowboy boots?
Not cowboy boots, more
But
like
she just wanted to wear some boots.
boots for the concert to go with that
How
outfit.
far out were you that you had to go back?
She lived like because she was picking me up, and she
Oh,
lives like
okay.
15 minutes from me.
Oh, okay. So after she
So it
picked you up,
wasn't
you went to her house.
crazy.
Okay, okay,
But
that's
we had to
funny.
drive to pick up her sister and stuff because they live a little further. But then that was kind of on the way-ish, I think. I don't know. But it all worked out. But we got there around like 4-ish to the
Mm-hmm.
hotel. The concerts was at like 7:30. So we had to get ready really quick. And like it took forever to like check in and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
all that. But then we did. We got ready real quick. I was exhausted from the car ride. I'm like, I can't believe I'm gonna have to like stand through this fucking long ass concert. And I was in this car for so many hours. I hate a fucking road trip.
Oh, I
I
hate
hate
going to Miami. You gotta drag me to Miami. I
no,
hate driving
like
down
people
there.
hype up Miami so much.
Mm-mm.
If you see me swatting YouTube, it's because of this one fly that got in this room somehow. I am so sorry. Um, But literally, people hype up Miami. Look, I haven't spent
It's
enough time
cute.
there. It's cute in some areas. I mean, it's cute, but I mainly my issue is the highway and the driving. The highway's
It's
confusing. The
so
driving
bad.
sucks. Like,
And the way they've built it now, I think about it, is not something that you can easily extend. Because they've got several highways that kind of like cross, raise, and cross and stuff. And it's like,
yeah.
yo, if they were to, they need to expand it. But if they were going to, the time of day that you went, I'm sure you were sitting in traffic for a minute.
Oh, for sure. And there's like always traffic. I think no matter what time.
Yeah,
I
that
just can
sucks. I
never.
hate Miami.
Um, I hated the hotel we were at.
Oh no, why?
It gave me sketch vibes.
Oh, really? What was it?
It
Y'all
was
were at a motel?
no, it was this is should I call it out? I mean, it
Why
could just
not?
be me. I mean, it was one of the Ramadas,
Really?
Wyndham.
Wyndham. Yeah, hit or miss depending on the area. What was the rating?
I think it was just like a 3.7 out of 5, which wasn't
Hmm.
terrible,
That
but
sounds like an average experience.
at average, I was just like,
Uh,
looking at the bathroom and looking, one of the chairs had like red stained. I think it was like a juice. It didn't look like
oh,
blood.
yeah, yeah.
Hopefully not. But I was just like, look, I'm a germaphobe and I'm not conducive to these. And why
Yeah,
isn't
no,
everything
no.
pristine?
Mm-mm. If at minimum the bathroom needs to be spotless. If I see a speck of mold, I'm grossed out and I'm gonna be like, I might ask for another one. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I get it.
No, and I
Yeah,
wasn't the
hotels are
only one who
tough.
called the bathroom sketchy. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going crazy by thinking this is
Yeah.
fucking gross.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless, we got ready quick. And then we did this thing where you like drive and like you park in a parking lot and then there's a shuttle. That actually
Oh,
was kind of good. It was pretty
yeah.
quick. I think the shuttle was maybe like 15, 20 minutes from the Hard Rock. Like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, getting there was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the walk, there's just so much fucking walking. Like, oh my
Hey.
gosh. And it was just like so many people. I was just like, I can't. But we get to our
Yeah.
seats. And like honestly, Gracie Abrams opened.
Oh,
I
she did
like
have an
her.
opener.
She did. She had Gracie.
Gracie Abrams, is that the rainbow lady?
No, that's Casey Musgraves.
Their
Gr
names sound similar, do they not?
they don't not. Gracie sings that one song. You probably heard it on TikTok. Um, It is what it is. Da, 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 da. I loved you first, and that was a day. Da, 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 da,
Mm.
na, 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 na. I don't know any of the words. I love
Mm.
you. I'm sorry. You were the best, but you were the worst. As sick as this was, I loved you first. That was a day. That is what it is. Da, 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 na, na.
He said, I don't really know. Proceeds to sing the whole
The
song.
beginning, the beginning of
I
the part came back to me.
I think I've heard it.
If I sent you a TikTok with it, you probably heard it at least a couple times.
Yeah.
It's one of
Yeah.
those viral songs that go viral
Mm-hmm.
every month. Leah from Love Island loves it. But she was good. I like Gracie. She's one of those where I like a couple songs, but every song does sound the same. So There's that.
There's
But she
that.
sang one of hers that I just started to listen to that I really liked, so I was thankful.
Yeah.
Um, but she
How were
had
your
a
seats? Oh,
the
sorry.
seats weren't terrible. They were like, I guess technically nosebleeds. They were high up, but like I feel like
Hey, who cares?
it was there was many screens. I felt like we could see. What ended up working out was it was raining during, but we were in the part that was covered. So
Look
we
at
would only
you.
get hit a little like with wind, like a mist.
Nice.
So it
Okay,
was like
that's
nice.
good.
It worked out. But
Wow. Were you at the
yeah.
football stadium?
Yeah, it was the Hard Rock
Oh, the Hard
Stadium.
Rock Stadium. I don't know if that's where they play the games. But
Or maybe
sorry, you
not
were
the
saying
football
some
one, but were the
it might be a
Hurricanes.
different
It was across from where the Hurricanes practice.
across from their practice. Oh,
The
okay.
seats were blue. Does that mean a sport plays there? I
Miami Hurricanes are like a teal color. Who knows? That's
I
okay.
think it was teal.
Oh, okay. Then
I
that's
think
probably their
they do
stadium.
something there. There's
She
something that happens at this stadium that is sports related
I'm gonna find out.
when
But you were
Taylor's
saying
not
something
there.
about Gracie Abrams before I interrupted you.
Oh no, she was good. It was like a tight 30. She did great. Love her. She has a nice bob. I appreciate a bob. You know, we love
Taylor had a bob. Oh, Gracie Abrams had a bob. Sorry.
Gracie. Taylor came on and it's a 3.5 hour show. It could be 2.5. Hell, it could just be
Really?
two. It's
Yeah.
just so fucking long. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus. And
Singing for 3 hours, just nonstop Taylor Swift.
and look, she's a performer and she does
Yeah.
well. She sounded good. Most of the looks were nice. Like
Hmm.
it was a good show, but it was just like so long. She loves herself an applause for no reason.
What do you
Apparently,
mean?
it's like a thing to
Were
see
you like,
what show can give the longest applause. It was
oh,
literally after one song, maybe it was Champagne Problems, I don't remember. It was like people were applauding, and then Taylor would like look out to the audience and be like, and then be like,
how long did it last?
too fucking long, like maybe five
That's,
minutes. And then I'm like,
oh,
okay, y'all, like I
oh,
can't.
that's
Can
a
we get this
lot.
moving? And so
Brandon, I thought you were a Swiftie.
I am a Swiftie, but
This is too.
I'm like, let's get this going. She also would give like these random long speeches. Like
About
she'd
what?
be like, when I was thinking about this and I was doing this, like you guys are so beautiful, the best show ever. And when I was thinking about this like at this evermore folklore era, I envisioned this tree house.
What?
And I'm like,
Do
don't say that because folklore evermore is my favorite era. And the fact that you were inspired by a mossy piano does not make me like it. Don't do this. Um, but it
No,
was
I mean, look, it's her thing.
it's
She's
her
like, y'all are here
thing.
for me, and you're gonna
So,
get every penny worth.
some of her inspo is a little questionable. I'm like, how was this division? But it was well done, so I'm like, that's fine. Um, but she does songs from every era. She didn't do her first album, Taylor Swift era, because she would have a
Mm,
costume for each era, sing songs. A lot
mm-hmm,
of the songs are kind of like the popular songs from the albums. She'd
mm-hmm,
maybe throw in a couple that weren't like
mm-hmm.
mainstream, which I mean, this is me. I'm like, I don't need to hear like, I mean, 22 was fine, but I don't need to hear We Are Getting Back Together or like I Knew You Were Trouble. Like, I'd rather hear like
Yeah.
Albatross or Exile. I don't know. But then she had her acoustic moment where she has like her surprise songs or like mashups. She sang one song from her first album, Tim McGraw, but that's one I don't even really know, which is it's a popular one, so that's on me. But she didn't have an era where she dressed up as Taylor Swift. So I'm like, this isn't the Eras tour. Like, I'm sorry, if you're not doing every era, that feels wrong. I don't like that. But
All
anyways,
but one.
all but one.
You can't please people, Brandon. I think she had her eras.
Look, I give it to her. She did it.
So how many is that then? Seven?
A
10?
lot. There's okay, so Taylor Swift, the first one. There's Fearless, Enchanted. Wait, is that Speak
She
Now?
she's had one a year, right?
Fearless Speak Now. There's Red, 1989. Um, Reputation. There's Tortured Poets Department. There's Lover, Folklore Evermore, roughly nine, maybe.
Nine.
She
I
could
mean,
do
and she
10.
missed one.
Look,
Hmm.
I'm that's her first one,
Yeah.
but that's just me
I get
being
it.
picky. But
Yeah.
well, I just wanted to hear our song or Picture to Burn. That's it. But
Yeah.
Taylor,
Brenda's like, I've been here for 3 hours and you didn't even do the ones I want. I mean, at that point, I would also be like, hey, can you, if you don't
hey,
mind?
by the way, can you please? But no, she did very good. I will say I wore the wrong shoes. I wore these tennis
Oh,
shoes from Zara that I
I love
knew
how
were
you say
tight.
tennis shoes. Say tennis shoes
Tennis
again.
shoes, tennis
Oh,
shoes.
tennis shoes.
Oh,
Okay.
anyways, they're from Zara. They're a shiny black pair of tennis shoes, and I'm like, this will go well with my outfit. And I
Mm,
knew they were kind of tight, but I was just like, they're usually fine until the end of the night. No, we were standing and walking so much.
for
It was
three
literally like
hours, yeah.
painful. And
Uh,
like I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I need to sit. This is terrible. I literally, my right pinky toe, I don't know if it's numb, but it feels like it's asleep. You know how it feels tingly when you touch
still?
something? Still.
Still?
I can
Oh,
feel
Brandon.
it, and it doesn't hurt, and I can walk fine. But it's just like I think it's
Mm,
recovering. Um,
okay, give it a day or two.
my right pinky toe was the one that was really in pain. I could feel it. Um, but overall it was fun. She does do this thing too, where she just like will look over at the crowd, just kind of like,
Oh, the facial expression. Oh,
and
she's
like
putting on a
she
show.
points a lot and she'll just like sling her body and like do this. And I'm like, what are you doing? Here's the thing. I am a Swiftie, but I love her music, but I can openly admit she's insufferable. Sorry.
She's doing a little too much.
Our favorite capitalist, Taylor Swift. I'll leave it at that. Um,
That's so funny.
but the show overall, it was a great show. During the show was fun and all that, and I loved it. And I loved that I went and was able to go. Leaving the show,
Oh
I
gosh.
knew it was gonna be not fun.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how not fun it was gonna be. Just because like I knew there'd be a lot of walking. I knew there'd be like a lot of people. That's fine.
Hmm.
But it's starting to rain a little bit.
Oh no.
They closed the ramp to walk because it had rained and it was wet. So we had to
Hmm.
go a different way. We had to go in the opposite direction of where we needed to go to
Hmm.
like take the stairs. When we get down there, we ask someone who's at the door. We're like, "Hey, we need to go to lot 95 because that's where the shuttle will be." And we're like, "Where is it?" They point to the left and say right. So we're like, okay, so which way?
Yeah.
But where they were pointing was where we kind of thought maybe we would go because we were like, I think we came from there. So we're like, we'll just go where she's pointing. We're going. There's these pockets where it's like people are not moving or they're walking the opposite direction or like turning around. And we're trying to ask people like, is this where you go to like the park and rides, which is what the thing is called. And either they're not answering or they're like, I don't know, or they're like, no. And we're like, but then we saw a sign that said the park and ride was going there. So we're like, okay, we're
Ah,
going in the right direction, but we're not
that's
we
annoying when you're confused.
right. And then people are like kind of going through the side of the gates and like opening where they shouldn't be to get through because it's just so packed and such a clusterfuck. We see these other people who are working there and we're like, hey, like, is lot 95 this way? The guy verbatim goes, I'm
Wow.
I'm like, what are you ta wait, what do you okay. bare minimum. Look, I know things are going to be a cluster, but how do people not know where things are if you work
Oh, that's
here?
annoying. That's
Or like
so
how to get
annoying.
and like the signs. We had saw one sign that said park and ride, but it was after we actually walked a while. There was really no signs available pointing you in the right direction.
So thankfully you went in the right direction from the get-go.
Right. And then there's this one part that was so like literally I was like, I'm going to evaporate here. Like I'm going to die here. It was so it was as if 95% of the people going that went to the concert are going against us.
Oh my
And we have to like
gosh.
walk that way. We can barely get through. There's this guy who works there pushing someone who's in a wheelchair that's blowing a whistle to try to get traffic. But people are like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Nah, we can't move. And all this. And
Oh
then
my
people are getting into
gosh.
arguments. This one girl's telling her mom, just push people. Who cares? I'm like, what's happening?
Oh,
And
that's the
so
worst. After you've been somewhere for several hours, you're tired, you want to go home, and then you have to deal with like basically walking through a mob. That's crazy.
it was awful. Literally, I thought this one girl who was like on a scooter was gonna fight someone because she turned around. She's like, "Did you just hit my fucking foot?" And they're like,
Oh
"No, I'm
gosh.
sorry, I didn't see it." And she's like, "Oh, you didn't see it?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." And so it was just a lot. We did find our way to the lot. That was just a long line too when we got there, but it is what it is. At least we were like there, and it's like, okay,
Hmm.
we're almost home. Yet somehow in our group that was supposed to get on the next bus, the guy didn't drive up far enough, and the buses that were in front were going to the wrong lot. Like there was like a traffic jam. So we ended up having to wait even longer for a bus that was actually going to our lot to show up.
Oh my
And then people
gosh.
that were behind us were able to get on the bus that wouldn't pull up. And people were like pissed. There's like, where is our bus? This one lady was trying to yell at one of the people who worked there, and the person who worked there was being so nice and was just like, this is what happened. Da, 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 da. Da. And the lady was just like, this just isn't fair. And it's like, okay, girl, like, what do you, what are
What do
they
you want
gonna
her to
do? They don't know. They're not driving the
do?
bus. Like, what do you mean? And
Taylor
she's actually
already
being
got her
very
money.
nice explaining this. Like, get a
That part.
grip. You're not the only one
I hate when
here.
people do that. Yes.
And so we went, eventually we did go on the shuttle bus. We got to our car. It took a while to get out of the parking garage, but then it was fine. We didn't get back to the hotel till like 2.
What time was the show?
It was from 8 to 11:30.
Oh my gosh, it took you 3 hours to get
It took us
home.
almost the time of the show to get home.
That's insane. Did you find
So
food?
no, we ate there. We did have like some food at the stadium, so it was
Okay.
fine. We really just wanted to get home and like drink water.
We just were thirsty and tired.
Like we were just disassociating, standing out there, me and my broken toe. And then just like it was just a lot. So what I will say is this: do I regret going? No. It was an
Yeah.
experience. We drove back today. I feel fine. Would I do it again? No. I
Yeah.
saw it. I can see it again on
That was
Disney
cool.
Plus, or is it on Netflix? Whatever one it's on.
Well, she's gonna do it somewhere.
I'm sure she'll even release a part 2 because
It might already be out.
she loves the deal that will make her millions.
Saw Taylor.
Florence did show up from Florence and the Machine because
Really?
they have a song called Florida that they sang.
That's
That was
cool.
fun.
Oh, I
People
would have loved
thought
to see
Post
her.
Malone was gonna show up because it opened during Fortnite and then someone came up and they were like,
Oh,
it was just a dancer.
your voice cut out the whole time.
Oh, they were like, oh my God, it's Post Malone. It was just a dancer.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you
So
had your experience. Did you exchange bracelets? How does that work? You just walk up to people and you're like, oh, here.
I guess I didn't. So wouldn't know.
I'm glad you got to experience her. I wish it was more
And
fun.
you know what? She gave a good show. She was on it. And aside from the cringe speeches and looks,
Everything
give it
else
to
was
her.
good.
Yeah.
Give it to her. Give Taylor her flowers.
Give her her tens.
Well,
Uh, but
I have some
yeah.
exciting news for you, Brandon.
What?
I can return to the gym on
No, you
Wednesday.
can't for real. Stop.
Wednesday.
How is your foot?
It's fine, honestly.
Oh my God.
It's fine. Yeah, like so I can't I need to my doctor really sucks. I came to that conclusion this past week. Like the doctor, to summarize, I broke my toe in May, have tore a bunch of tendons or strained a bunch of ligaments, couldn't really bend my left foot at all. So it doesn't, it's like slight, it's just like kind of sore, but it doesn't hurt as much. I went to the
Yeah.
doctor Wednesday. Dude came. I spoke to the lady, told her like what's going on. Dude came, stood at the sink like this. It spoke to me for 4 minutes and walked out. And I was like, cool. Like, you're not gonna
Great.
touch my foot. You're not gonna look at anything. And they're like, so he wants you to come back in 8 weeks. And I'm like, I'm all right. I really don't need to see your ass anymore. So I went on YouTube and I found some stretches. So I'm gonna start doing those. But for the most part, it's fine. It's just one of those injuries that you have to kind of like let it heal. And he basically told me if it hurts, don't do it. So I'll keep that in mind when I go back to the gym. If I do feel any pain, I'll just stop what I'm doing. But
Okay.
I'm not where I was before, and I'm excited to go back
I
to
love that. Oh my gosh.
everything.
That's amazing. I'm glad your foot's feeling better. I'm glad you're finally rejoining. I'm glad,
Yes.
this has been a long broken foot era for Maggie.
It
And I'm
has
glad she's
been.
exiting it. This is perfect because I'm
Cause
planning on hitting the gym hard this past week because I haven't been in a minute because of the hurricane
good.
and being sick. So I'm like, I need to go.
Yes, let's do it. Cause I have a I'm planning to do all the strength days and at least maybe one cardio day. So maybe I'll do a cardio day on Wednesday and do all the strength days. I'm gonna start light
Oh
with the
yeah.
cardio and work my way up.
True
But yeah,
cardio's
I
good
it's
because you can like pace yourself.
right. And I'll just be like, I'm hurt. Don't judge me. And then I feel like it's hard. It's so hard for me to work out by myself. So I'm excited to go back. I texted Jen and I was like, guess, well, are you alive? Are you okay? Is your house okay? She's like, I'm fine. I'm like, great, I'm coming back. And she's like, I can't wait. I'm like,
Oh, I
I'm really
love
coming back
that.
for you and Brandon and Kelsey. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
But I'm
Period.
excited to rejoin you. I was like, I'm gonna wait to tell Brandon on the pod so
Oh
he can
my
be
gosh.
excited.
I love
Surprise,
that.
surprise. We
Another
love
round
it.
of good news. We're finally ending the Love Island USA season 2 coverage.
And we
No,
only say that because the last six or so episodes could have definitely been two.
that
Three.
part.
Fuck it. I'll give you three. But I'm like, yo, they're dragging this shit out. Brandon,
It's
when
just,
Ariel was like, so I'm gonna jump to the end just to be annoyed since we're annoyed.
yes.
They get the final four get up and they do their recommitment speeches. And after their recommitment speeches, Ariel comes out and she's like, the final four. We have to find out who the winner is. But first, and I'm like, there's something else. And
That
she sits
shook me
down.
too.
I was pissed. I was
I was
pissed.
like, what are we doing?
Just tell us who the winner is. Fuck. What? Why? And the declarations were already long as hell. Like, come
Oh
on.
my gosh. But also like they were like condensed on this like cable ass show. Because Peacock, they show like everything. And this one, it's
Yeah.
like, y'all got, you only have 30 minutes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, there was just, these three episodes could have been 1 hour and a half long episode.
Definitely. I
Just
watched
one.
32 a while ago and I don't even remember what was in it. I doubt anything significant.
That was the one with the
All
babies.
Oh, that's funny. Yes, it was I mean, it was all right, but at that point it's like literally babies, like you're just giving them something to do. From the last like six that we watched, the only ones we needed were final dates, meeting the parents, finale. That's it. We
That's
didn't need
it.
any of this other shit. We didn't need any of it. Y'all could have saved some coins and extended your budget on the other rickety games that you decided to pull out last minute, and you could have had a nicer ending to the season. The last episode, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is annoying. The
And it's just
last,
like a lot of the same conversations. I can't
yeah,
wait to spend time with you outside
they've
of
already
here.
said this stuff. Even the final declarations, like they've already communicated at length how much they want to be together. And they are together. It could have been a quick, like, final four, tell us how you feel. Man, I'm just so lucky to have you, Justine, and you're the light of my life. And Caleb, like, thank you so much. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be declaration. Oh, so nice. And then your Ariel's gonna pull you aside for like a interview that maybe a 2-question interview that you barely show anyway. So it's
And
like,
it's
what's
mostly a
the point?
montage.
Yes.
And also like how unserious. None of these couples are together.
That part. I
They
was like,
don't
I want
like
to
each
start doing
other.
research tonight to figure out what happened to everybody.
I tried to do a little bit. I was a little from getting sick, not able to, and with
Yeah.
going to Miami, I want to do a little more, but there really wasn't even much that I could find.
Really? No
Um,
interviews?
I need to look on YouTube, but I was trying to like
Mm.
Google and see if there was like a Reddit or something,
Yeah.
but there wasn't too much. But let's get started with these episodes. Episode 32, PePe, the man, the myth, the legend.
PePe. Oh.
This episode was like it randomly started with Calvin planning a mission with Moira to sleep outside to look at the stars.
Brandon, in Las Vegas, Nevada, the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, can you see the stars?
I don't know.
I know they're high up, but did y'all really see anything?
That's a good question. We should
You're
ask
not
them.
on an
Calvin
island.
and or Moira. You can come on
Did
the
you see
pod. We will
stars?
interview you.
We will.
I like y'all. I low key wanted y'all to get second place by the end of this, to be honest.
Same here.
So I wasn't against it. But this was just a cute moment. He's like, you gotta wear all black. Then we're gonna grab pillows. Then you're gonna follow me. And it's like da da da. And it's like, okay. Um,
Mm-hmm. Calvin is so cute when he wants to be. I was like, he
he
is
is
charming. I like
right
him.
and funny. I'm like, Calvin, I could hang with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, on another side of the hotel villa, Justine is telling Cely that she's not being herself. And she's like, look, Johnny doesn't put you before himself and like check on you and it's all about him and his emotions. And Cely's like, this annoys me because I know he's not like that, but I feel like people think I'm weak. And I'm like, I don't think you're weak.
I don't think that's what she actually thinks. It's like America saw your man with another woman enjoying himself, having a great time, and you have decided to take him back, but you are insecure about how that may make you look. That's what she's upset about.
Basically. And I get it, you know, but also like it is what it like, I don't know. I felt bad for Cely, but I was like, I don't know. I think
No,
Justine's speaking some facts and it's kind of
I
like
agree.
maybe like, hello.
Yeah, and then I think like Justine was like, I'm sorry if like, I'm not trying to like cut you down, and I'm sorry if it makes you feel away. I think she says it now and later. Because I think she can tell that Cely doesn't like what she's saying. But it's kind of true. Like they had a relatively fine day. And Johnny is so upset that people asked him about Casa Amor, which is crazy because they should ask you. But he's so upset that he's like Loki having a temper tantrum and in his feelings. And it's like, okay, it's fine to be in your feelings, but this is also a moment that you and Cely could reminisce on the conversations. Like, don't just focus on the negative. But that's hard to do when people are upset and
She'll
feelings are
talk
high.
about it once and then a couple hours later she'll find him like upstairs on a couch just
Yeah,
like
he did sulk for an extended period of time.
and she's like, what's wrong, Johnny? Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Are you gonna in his head, are you gonna ask me if I'm okay?
Will you
Yeah,
ask
I'm
me again?
fine.
It just hurts
No,
that
actually,
because of what I did, people always bring it up to me.
we wouldn't be in this position if I didn't mess up. Yeah, Johnny, we know.
We got it. And it's actually not the fact that you messed up, it's how you acted afterwards. But anyways,
I think he really wants people to know how bad he feels. Oh, I need to do this because I said I would do this and I haven't been.
oh yeah,
Just a disclaimer. We are here recapping what we've seen on this show. We don't know these people from a can of paint. We are just reacting to who they present themselves as on this TV show. They
this
could
is
be
true.
different. This is just our impression of who they are in this moment. Season 2, Love Island, USA, which was several years ago. So,
All right, disclaimer. um After that, everyone goes to bed and Calvin and Moira do their sneak out mission. Woo. The
woo.
next day, everyone wakes up to the sound of crying babies. And Cely runs out and tells Moira and Calvin they left their baby inside. That was funny. And they're all just like, what the fuck is happening? And then it's like these would it be like animatronic babies? Is that how you would
Yeah.
say it?
Yeah,
Like,
I guess they poop and things like that, but other than that, they're electronic babies. You can't
yeah.
actually feed them. But yeah, they
Th-
cry, they need to be held, they need to sleep, they need to be changed, they need to be fed.
We gotta test if these couples would be good parents.
I kind of want one just to see
Oh,
how I do.
you know what? Next birthday.
Not as a gift. It needs
Here
to be
you
a
go,
rental
Maggie. I
kind of
got you
thing.
a baby. Um, I did make note, of course, Carrington is like, Laurel's gonna be changing the diapers because I hate her.
He's such a dick.
I hate
And
her.
she's like, we both will. But the thing is, it's funny, but he's dead ass serious.
He's not
Laurel's gonna
joking.
change the diapers. Like,
Oh
he's
no, you stop it, Carrington. We both will, right,
you're
guys?
so funny, Carrington. You're so silly.
Carrington, I just love you so much. Oh my gosh. And he's like,
You just
I
crack me up.
hate you. Just
We're
kidding.
better. We're as great as butter on bread.
Peanut butter and toast. Ain't that what Rob's gonna say in 4 years? Something like that. I thought Lakin was funny. She
Yeah,
she like had a hoodie
she
and
said she used to be a
sunglasses.
nanny.
She's like, I used to be a nanny, but I got fired. So this is gonna be pretty much all Bennett. And I'm like, that was funny. Justine and Caleb were the only ones with twins, which was random, but they named them
Hmm.
Kiki and Coco. I was like, that's cute.
Hmm.
Um, Lincoln. She's like, Bennett has full custody. I'll take the weekends. Like, it's fine. And I'm like, at least you're honest, girl.
I really like Lincoln.
I honestly, Lincoln really grew on me. I like her a
Uh-huh.
lot. I wish she would have made the finals, and she almost did,
She
but we'll
almost
get to
did.
that.
I wish she was there with Mackenzie. I feel like the two of them would have been friends.
They would have
They're
been
so similar.
funny, and
Oh,
like she would have
Mackenzie.
understood Mackenzie.
100%.
That would have been a good dynamic duo. Um,
Harrington and Laurel named their baby Cynthia Luann.
was it Cynthia Luann or Cynthia Ann?
I heard Luann, but maybe it
I
was
wouldn't be
Anne.
surprised by either. I
Cynthia
wrote Ann, but I'm
Luann.
not sure. This is Cynthia Ann or Luann, and it's named after our parents. And I'm like, of course, this is what you named the baby. I'm not surprised.
Because his mom's name is, and I was like, all right, Laurel, we get it.
Wrap it up, Laurel. I thought Calvin was funny. They named the baby PePe at first, and
Hmm.
Carrington goes, "It's a boy," and Calvin's like, "It's a man. Don't ever disrespect him again." And I'm like, that was funny.
Calvin's
Um,
great.
but they do change the name to Parker, and Pepe will be like a nickname. And I'm like,
Hmm.
why am I writing this shit down about these fake babies?
Parker will be the nickname, period.
Right. Johnny and Cely name it Johnny the Third. And he's like, of course, Johnny instantly, Sully's gonna be terrible. and I'm gonna do all the work, which is true
It is
ultimately,
true.
but it was funny and I liked
Yeah,
it.
me
So
too. I like their dynamic. Sally could be neglectful. It's fine. Johnny got it.
yeah, because there was a moment where Sully's trying to like be with the baby and it won't stop crying, and she like interrupts Johnny's confessional to give it back. And he's like, "Oh, hi." I love how Johnny's confessionals are always interrupted.
Yeah.
Um, Justine and Caleb talk for the 18th time, where she says she's happy she got her parents' approval.
Hmm.
Um, Same. Johnny says he's
I
excited.
thought this was funny because they get done talking and they're walking through the villa and Justine sees Cely sitting by
Oh
herself and she's
yeah,
like, "Where is your baby? Where is your
with
baby?"
its father. That was funny. I love Justine and Sully's friendship.
Me
Um,
too.
Johnny says he's excited to teach his son about how to spit game with girls. And this is where I'm like, of course, Johnny is taking this fake baby scenario and being like, I want this baby to be as great as I am. I want it to be like me, everything about me, it should be. And it's like, this is fake, Johnny.
Right.
You're once again taking this
Also,
very seriously. Also, it shouldn't be. Anyways.
right. And it's like the one of the things you want to teach them, the first thought to your head is how to talk to women. Hmm. Okay.
All
And
right,
then he had a
Johnny.
daughter, which is very ironic,
This
right? He has
is.
a daughter.
He does.
I feel like guys who aren't the greatest guys typically have girls.
That typically does work out that way.
Yeah.
Um, Laurel gets a text. The boys have to stay home with the babies and the girls are going out. And I'm
That's
like, woo,
crazy. I
they
was
get
like,
a
I'd be
spa day.
pissed.
I would be
Yeah.
too. I'd be like, what is happening? But the
Mm-hmm.
boys are boys, so they have fun and do like a baby relay race where it's
Mm-hmm.
like you gotta like go through all these obstacles and then like end with
Mm-hmm.
putting the baby to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're running with the babies was killing me. It was so funny. Then they had to eat like baby food. I'm like, that's disgusting. They're
Mm-hmm.
rushing, and Carrington, the leg of his baby comes off. I'm like, Carrington, can you at least try to be good at anything? I can't with him. And then overall, though, Bennett ended up winning off like a technicality because I guess Johnny didn't like swaddle the baby or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And of course, Johnny was upset. He's like, I guess technically Bennett won, but really I did. And it's like, okay, Johnny, it's not that serious. Um, they talked though, and Caleb thinks Justine will be a great mom. Carrington feels the same about Laurel. Woo woo woo. The girls return, and Sally says she didn't miss Johnny Jr. at all. And then the babies start crying right when they get there, and they have to take care of them. That was funny. They were like tanning with the babies. They were like all in the
They
pool.
were. All the guys were in the pool and all the babies were in like floaties or in
Yeah.
chairs.
And they're like, what are you guys doing? Um, Justine and Cely do talk about the conversation from the night before. And she says she hopes she didn't say anything to make her feel bad. And Cely says, it's just an overwhelming night, and I feel bad for Johnny. But I know if she wasn't being taken care of, that she would voice that. And she knows that Justine is the best friend, that like she has good intentions. So she's not
Hmm.
upset with Justine, which is good. Um, but then Calvin gets a text. The parenting challenge is over, and every couple passed except for Laurel and Carrington, probably because the leg came off.
Yeah, at
So,
that point your baby died. So
right. But everyone gets ready for the night. Ariel pops up and she's like, hey, losers, guess what's happening? One couple gotta go because they're about to approach finale night, and there
hmm.
can't be five. So, but the twist is the Islanders have to decide. And it's like, oh, they got to vote for who's the least compatible couple. And so the couples separate. They talk amongst themselves. Laurel says you can make a case for anyone besides Justine and Caleb, which is
Hmm.
interesting. Um, Moira doesn't think Carrington's that loyal and actually believes in Lakin and Bennett. Lakin loves Laurel and thinks they're a good couple. Cely thinks Laurel loves Carrington more than he loves her. And I'm like, damn, everyone's saying that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's true.
it is.
But the couples return. And the first ones up are Moira and Calvin. And they're like, this couple we're voting for because they lack compatibility on what to do on the outside. And based off that, I was like, oh, they're going to pick Laurel and Carrington
Right.
because obviously. But
Yeah.
they, for some reason, pick Lakin and Bennett.
Mm-mm.
And this is where my producer cap comes on. And I'm like, they want
Did
Laurel, they want Carrington, their golden boy, to be in the finale.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Lakin and Bennett are both bombshells, and they've been there the least. And the audience has gotten to know Carrington so much, they're probably trying to save him. But if we're talking practically, he literally told her, like, yeah, we'll see. I'll come, maybe come visit me. I
We
don't know if
won't
I'll
be
visit you.
together,
He's like,
but
I mean, let's go and just act like we are now, still be open and then see. And I'm like, so then does not, maybe everybody doesn't know that. And that's why they're not saying Carrington and Laurel.
maybe. So Lakin and Bennett have one vote, but then they go up next and they pick Laurel and Carrington because they feel as though they won't last as long as the others. So it's
Hmm.
one for Lakin and Bennett, one for Laurel and Carrington. Laurel and Carrington vote. They should have voted for themselves. But they vote for Lakin and Bennett because they don't believe they have as strong as a connection as everyone else. Very vague.
Hmm.
Um, but then Johnny and Cely go. And this is where I was a little surprised by their vote because I'm like, oh, they're probably going to pick Lakin and Bennett because they have loyalty to Laurel and Carrington. And they say, we're voting for this couple because they think they'd have the hardest time making it work in the real world. And it ended up being Laurel and Carrington. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, not them
Yeah.
betraying them. But I was like, thank you
Yeah.
for keeping it real.
Yeah.
So,
So it was tied basically.
it was tied
Two
2
votes for
2.
both.
So then the final deciding is Justine and Caleb. And they give like a long, like it's like a commercial break. It's like, it's
Hmm.
hard to pick because we feel like everyone's here for the right reasons. Justine's getting choked up. She doesn't like this at all. But ultimately, and this is Caleb's word, I know, because he had said it previously. They're voting for this couple because they believe there's more maturity in this relationship.
So time.
I guess, well, they vote for Lakin and Bennett to go home.
Hmm.
And I think it's because at one point he said, I feel like Carrington's matured a lot with Laurel.
So
And it's like,
who
has he though?
cares?
What
Yeah,
did he
for
do?
real. It
Define
looks like he hates
maturity.
that girl half the time.
I'm saying.
But they leave, so we say bye to Bennett and Lakin.
We do. And it is what it is. We didn't really know him. So it was kind of
Mm-mm.
like, which I get them not making the finale for that. But Lakin kind of grew on us. Bennett,
Yeah,
he was there.
yeah. Like
So
who left right at the end in season 6? It was Rob. No, Rob was there. Yeah, Rob,
Rob, Aaron, Kaylor,
Taylor,
and Cassie, because she
and
like
Cassie.
came like the day before and got with
They had
Rob.
6 couples.
And they're
I
like,
bet
another
they
vote.
I bet they kept them just longer because of the thick of it all, and then had to get down to 4, and so they just did it like that.
Oh yeah. Um, so they leave and then, they say they plan to see each other after this. I don't know if they did or not. I know Lakin's married to someone else.
Oh,
So there's
wow.
that.
Yeah.
Or at least engaged. I think married though. I saw something on Instagram. But then at the end it shows, oh, it's time to vote for the winners. Who did you vote for?
I would have voted for Justine and Caleb for sure.
Same. Um, so we go to episode 33. It's the first part of the 2 night finale. Episode
Whoa.
whoa. Episode 33, Celine, the true love story.
Yes.
Um, Justine feels like Carrington still has doubts, but Caleb had another perspective. Fraud recognizes fraud.
Because allegedly Caleb is not being was in a relationship during the time of filming, but we have yet to officially confirm, so we will see.
They were talking about Caleb and Laurel, or Carrington and Laurel, and Cely questions if they'd make it in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin and Moira have a cute moment where he's making her a grilled cheese.
I loved this. Calvin is so stinking smooth.
He
He
is.
keeps calling her Miss Moira. He's like, Miss Moira,
Well,
I'm
Miss
gonna make you my
Moira, I'm gonna make you this grilled cheese sandwich, and
Why do
it's
you sound
perfect
just like
because we have
him?
an assortment of the Mexican blend, and you
He's
put it on the
smooth.
outside, and like, you know what? We may not be, what did he say? He was
He
like,
said like
we
this may
may
not
not,
have this may not be a meal, this may not be something, but this was an experience or
but
something
this
like that.
truly, we made a moment.
Oh,
Miss
we made a
Moira.
moment.
Thank you, Miss Moira.
He's smooth, man. I like it.
He is. It was cute.
It was super cute. I was
Calvin,
like,
you've
okay,
grown on
Calvin.
us.
Remember I told you he was really good at the host? Miss Sally,
You
here
did.
is your thong
Miss
that
Sally.
Johnny would like you to remember about in this moment. Like he's genuine and cute. I think he's so cute.
Carrington is so glad he's here and feels like he deserves to be here.
I was like, what made you get to that conclusion?
Good question.
They were torn 50-50. We go back to 50-50 for character. 50-50. I'm torn between two people. That's
Those are
not
great
bad
odds.
odds.
I hate him.
But I'm like, what makes you feel like you deserve? I mean, I get it, but like that would make me feel like, dang,
I
maybe they don't
mean,
like me then.
at longevity wise, Lakin and Bennett literally just came in. Sure. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but then again, Laurel wasn't there that much longer than them. She was a Casa girl. And
Yep.
like you hate her. But anyways,
Yeah.
I did like his self-awareness that he knew Caleb had to convince Justine.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. But everyone goes to bed. And then the next day, Cely gets a text, and each couple will go on their final date.
Final dates.
Woo! Um,
Woo!
woo! Laurel gets the text that they're the first date, and while she seems very excited, Carrington seems very Carrington. He's like, yeah, it's the final date.
It's my last one. Been on so
Yeah,
many.
I've been
Date
I've
number
I've,
7.
I've been date guy, so it's like this is good for her because she hasn't gone on any dates, but like I've been on so many, so like I'm glad that
I
she
didn't
finally
even
gets to go on one.
I didn't even get that vibe, but I love that you did.
I just hate him. They walk out and peep this. They walk out and everyone's like, "Ooh, oh my gosh!" Carrington does like a oh yeah, here I am, and goes over Laurel and blocks Laurel, just shows himself off, then quickly realizes he is, and it's like, oh, and Laurel. I'm like, see, you're on a date with somebody, and you're not even fixated on their cheering for both of y'all that you would like hold her hand up with yours. You're like, oh, they're cheering for me, obviously. Like, look, I do have this nice black and white shirt. Ah, it's like,
He
no,
is
Carrington.
he's so selfish. It's comical at this point. Like it's just oh, Carrington.
It's and everyone is speculating what their date will be, but Celine, Justine, and Cely, they're like, we need a date. Why aren't we going on a date? We're the real couple of the
Hmm.
show. And I'm like, I know
Hmm.
that's right. But it cuts in between Laurel and Carrington's date and the villa, but with Laurel and Carrington, it starts with them driving around in a like red convertible and they go to like a little
Ferrari
Ferrari.
specifically.
Yes, specifically.
Hmm.
They did say that later because it was Carrington's favorite car.
Hmm.
But they have a little picnic set up. And Laurel's like, I wouldn't want to be here with anyone else. And Carrington's like, I'm happy I chose you.
She's like, dream date, dream guy. He's like, yeah, dream girl. And I'm like,
Yeah, totally. This is the
Laurel.
dream.
Laurel, let him speak first, and
And
let's
by
see what he
dream
has to
girl,
say.
I mean the Ferrari
This is the
that I
best
just drove.
experience. I got to drive a cool car. It did look cool. Have you been to the
It
Grand
did.
Canyon?
No,
I
but it
haven't
looked
either.
nice.
Yeah.
I'd go.
I'd go to.
Trip.
Maybe we should go and stay at Caesar's since they want us to stay at Caesar's so
Caesar's
bad.
Palace. This is the
Oh
perfect time
my
for an
gosh.
ad.
I
Uh,
love that I skipped over all of those. Anytime he was like, it's time for me to talk about Caesars, I was like, bet.
I was
10
like,
seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
wonderful. I can look at my phone.
Yes.
It cuts to Celine and their date, and they toast to finding their best friend and being soul sisters. And Justine's like, I found love 3 times with myself, with Caleb, and with you, Cely. I'm like, that's
Mm-hmm.
sweet.
They're cute.
And they're like talking about how they're glad Justine made a bold move and pursued Caleb because they're like, where would we be if you didn't? And it's like,
Yeah.
low key, that's right. Because Justine didn't really
Yeah.
have much going for her couples wise. And then she was just like,
Mm-mm.
I want Caleb. And
And
Rachel was like,
Caleb was
I
with,
don't understand why you would do that right now and be like this way. I don't know how to be your friend right now.
she's like, we're not friends anymore. To just follow up on our conversation before. I think ethically, I'm having a conflict of interest with our friendship, and I don't
I need
think
to
I
see
can
what
be your
her
friend.
Instagram's like if they're following each other.
Me too. Rachel is the
Ugh.
manager. She better be a CEO somewhere.
She better. I liked her low key, but that was a
Me
funny
too.
moment. It goes back to the date, and Laurel's like, it's so amazing to reminisce about our journey. And I'm like, is it?
Is girl, you were crying for like 75% of your
When it
journey.
started, he was deciding between you and another girl,
Mm-hmm.
and then picked her for the date in Casa.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you
And
came
then she
back,
had the nerve to talk shit in your face about the date.
right? Like, oh my gosh, it's just like, it's so amazing because we
That's
had the best
so good.
date.
Oh,
Yeah, like totally. And she's like, wow, that's so good. But then he came back, and then a bombshell comes, and right away he's like, oh my gosh, I'm really rethinking everything. So I don't know. But her favorite memory of them is hearing him say her name at the recoupling. I'm like, that's not a good
that's
favorite memory.
that's bare minimum.
That's literally like, wow, you decided to keep me over the other girl you were about to leave me for. Thanks. That's my favorite
That's
memory of our coupledom.
yeah, nah, that's not
Not any
fun.
intimate moments, not any inside jokes.
Nope.
Mm,
Not any grand gestures. Nothing.
nothing. And there was a moment I think where he did give her a date. So I'm like, she didn't even pick that. That's funny.
Yeah.
He says when he picked her, emotions took over, and he realized she's the girl he wants and needs, and that it's amazing that he cares this much after just 3 weeks, and she
Hmm.
makes him a better guy. In what way, Carrington?
And then he said, I'm willing to sacrifice to make it work. Which is, I mean, you were very clear about how you didn't want to make it work before. So I'm gonna need more to see how you would possibly make it work now.
What's your definition of a sacrifice,
Um,
Carrington?
yeah.
Using a pomade instead of gel? What are we talking about? A mousse instead of a light hold spray? Um, I laughed though because the narrator said learning to manage people's feelings tin as the
Yeah.
name. It was quite a mouthful, but it was
Had
funny.
I was like, I think all of America feels the same way as us. Carroting ain't shit.
I'm happy at least about that. Justine gets a text and it's time for their final date, and they're going to the Grand Canyon, and Caleb is excited to spend time with his girl. To which I ask, which one?
I hate you.
They go in a helicopter, and I don't think I could ever.
Really?
Yeah, I'd be too freaked out.
I've done one before. It is scary.
Maybe if it was like a but I don't know. I don't see the appeal. Maybe if you're with someone you love, but I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
something could go wrong. I just,
It is terrifying. I confer. It's scary as hell. I was in one and I was sitting in the front. So basically you can see everything. And I was
okay.
like, mm-mm.
No.
Ah, and the wind, you could feel the wind a little bit. Like if the wind blows hard a little bit, you could feel it. Helicopters are scary. But
I
over the Grand Canyon would be cool. I did one over like West Palm Beach. Obi took me once,
okay.
and the views were cool. We went over the water and stuff. It was cool. But over the Grand Canyon's got to be like stunning.
It should be. It's probably a nice
Hmm.
view. Just know
Hmm.
they did something like that on the past episode of Real Housewives of New York. It was so stupid. I feel like they were trying to have a moment. This girl Bryn was like, "Oh yeah, we're going on a helicopter." They were literally going to like the Hamptons, like from New York City. I'm like,
Oh, they just took a helicopter there.
yeah, and I'm like, I guess it's less time, but a little like I don't know, unnecessary.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they toast to being here together. The Islanders wonder if Kayla will drop the L word. And then Carrington and
Yeah.
Laurel return and they just tell them about their date.
Oh my gosh, he's so obnoxious. He's still wearing his gloves. They gave him black gloves to drive
He
the Ferrari.
was.
He's still wearing them. And then he's like, "Yeah, guys, so we went and and he names the car like verbatim, make, model, all of it. And was like, and I was there with Laurel and she was looking good. And I was like, I think you enjoyed the car more than anything.
And I got
And it
these
was like, oh,
gloves.
oh yeah. He was like, it wasn't even Laurel and I got to experience the best car. He's like, I, myself, Carrington, whatever my last name is, drove this red heart hot Ferrari, my dream car. The speed was great, control amazing, X amount of horsepower, and Laurel was with me. Yeah, she was there
And
too.
Laura was there. Just so you guys know, I know you're like maybe thinking she wasn't, but she was. Just to clarify, which was cool, I guess. Um, it cuts back to Justine and Caleb. And she asks when the moment was when he realized he liked her. And then he says it was that moment before the recoupling when she brought him for a chat at the jacuzzi and was basically
Hmm.
just super vulnerable and honest with her feelings and emotions. And he thought it was like the sweetest thing. And it just changed his mind. He was like, oh my God, I want to be with you. And I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah.
We love that. And that is a lesson in shooting your shot, I will say.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
In Justine's case, she had nothing to I mean, in every case, you really have nothing to lose. Just try, see what happens. He said
Yeah.
in the yeah, that was really cute.
It was. And then this is where he does drop the L word and tells Justine he loves her. And then it
Hmm.
freaks him out. And he never thought he could feel this in such a short amount of time. Which, I mean, yes, but people on shows often talk about how, like, when you're in such a confined environment, like a day feels like a week.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like a super bonding experience. But,
Nobody dates for 24 hours a day for 3 weeks straight.
right.
So it kind of makes sense that you'd love someone.
Mm-hmm. She says it back though. She loves him too. It's super sweet. He's relieved she said it back. And I'm like, okay, we don't have a Kendall Nicole situation.
Yeah.
We have something reciprocal. So that's nice to
Yeah.
see.
She likes him too.
Moira gets a text after Calvin races across the beds and does like some weird thing where he was like jumping over. It was kind of funny. And it's their time for their date. And Calvin says how his first date was with Moira in the villa. And I forgot all
Hmm.
about that. It was his first date.
Yeah.
I was like, that's sweet.
Yeah, I think he's only had two.
Yes, because it was her and Kirsten in the beginning.
Yeah.
Was that his only dates?
Oh, I guess that's technically two. Yeah, and now
Yeah.
this is the third one. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
first date was with Moira.
It was. And then they get dressed, and Moira wears a red dress. And I was like, okay, Ariana Madix, pop off. But it's like a dancing date, or it's gonna be a dancing date. That's how they're like posing it.
Yeah.
Um, Justine and Caleb return. They tell him about their date, and Johnny's like, "You said I love you, didn't you?" And then they
Hmm.
laugh and they talk about Justine said it back, and it's a super cute moment. And then Cely gets a text, and it's time for their date. And I just noticed, did you notice how Carrington was clapping as if it was like he was learning how to clap?
No, what?
He was like,
No, I didn't
he was
notice.
like, it was like his first time clapping. He was just like,
Probably because he didn't want to. He's like, I only clap for people who are like, super great at marketing like me, getting crazy numbers for my company like me that look as great as me, but I guess
Why
I'll
aren't we clapping
clap.
about me driving the Ferrari still? That's crazy. Um, Moira and Calvin to me had the best date so far, at least,
Yeah.
because then I also Cely and Johnny's was
Yeah.
a close second, if not the best. But at that point, I was like, okay, they have the best date.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was really stunning. The orchestra, the
Hmm.
seafood tower, the dance floor. I was
It
like,
was
this is
romantic and the
nice.
scenery. I was like, this is money. This is rich.
Mm-hmm.
And Moira's saying she was like, this experience was out of this world. And Calvin highlights how they found their way back to each other, which is a nice
Yeah.
story. They're like, we separated and then ended up back with one another.
Yeah.
There's a funny moment where Calvin has his first oyster and she feeds it to him and he gags. And I'm like, oh my
He's like,
gosh.
it's really good. And I'm like, you don't like it. It's okay.
You hate it. Oyster is an acquired taste. But
It
he did say
is.
before, he was like, I did hear that an oyster is like an aphrodisiac.
Miss
So I
Moira is
thought
an
we would Miss
aphrodisiac.
Moira.
Uh-huh.
So I thought
Uh-huh.
we would try it. But I've
Uh-huh.
never tried seafood
And he's
before.
like, will you feed one to me? And I'm like, Calvin's kind of
Uh,
a producer.
he
So I
is.
know what to say. I know what to do. Follow my lead. Feed me.
Feed me now. I got a funny moment lined up for us.
Right.
Um, but Calvin loves their spontaneity and goofiness,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves that she's always herself. And Moira's like, I
Mm-hmm.
completely agree. And she's
Yeah.
like, you're really the only person that actually makes me happy. So like that's few and far between in this villa. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. She's like, I hate everybody but you. No, they've come a long way. I
They
was really
have.
annoyed with Calvin for a while because he didn't pick Moira. Moira was obviously stuck on Calvin. She liked him. Even when he even when she picked someone else in
Oh
Casa, she
yeah.
expected to like date him still.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that he finally came around and it actually does seem like he genuinely likes her as well. So they figured each other out.
It does. I love that for them.
Mm-hmm.
They really grew on me too. I was like, you know what? I kind of I believe this mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Like there's still a part of
Well,
me that was a little like, I don't know if this would work on the outside. But right
yeah.
now, I'm enjoying it, so I'll accept it.
Well, we know everyone else doesn't work, so I'm curious to see that if Calvin and Moira stuck it out for a little bit.
Oh no, they did. I think everyone
Yeah.
broke up relatively quickly, which is also the like, damn, y'all didn't even make it like a year?
They're like, we watched it and we're done.
And we gotta go. Cely and Johnny's date is at the Coliseum. I love Cely's blue dress. I was like, you need to wear this color more. This is your color. Um, I just wish she was with someone else. Uh, but there's an interpretive dance, and I'm like, the Dancing with the Stars person in me would love to do that or watch that or learn how to do it.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it was definitely not two dancers. When they came, I thought it was gonna be like a movie or something, like a film of their life
Oh,
or something.
true.
Granted, I didn't realize it was just a big stage. I mean, they could have put a screen out there. I thought they were just gonna watch a movie. When the dancers came out, one was short. I was like, interpretive dancing.
Nuh-uh.
Because it was called like Johnny, like the show, they had tickets on their table
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was like the show, Johnny and Cely. And I'm like, cool. And then you just have these two dancers come out and do a very nice dance. I'm like, is that,
Yeah.
I was like,
Is
are you
this
going to
it?
reenact Casa? Like, are you going to show their whole story through the dance? But it was just a nice dance. And I was like, that's cool. It
I
was
mean,
cool. I was so surprised.
yeah, it was definitely surprising. That would they could have done. I mean, what are they gonna show? They're gonna show, I guess. That would have just brought up the Casa drama, and then
Well,
they would have
maybe
been
they could.
sad again.
No, I think they could have showed us like all of the deep times. Him proposing to her, basically asking her to be his girlfriend, them painting nails, them playing games,
That's
all the times
true.
they just hang out and talk about stupid shit,
Yeah.
about Cely being president and stuff,
They're like, I
like they
can't wait
had
to hang
plenty.
out with you on the outside and get coffee.
Yeah. I really want to see how we're like in the car and
Right.
like at at our house and like
Like
on the
when you
couch.
open a door, I want to see what that's like.
I
It's like,
think he mentions that here too.
Calvin and Moira return and they tell everyone about their date, but then it cuts back to Cely and Johnny. And Cely says, as she knew from their second conversation, that she liked Johnny. And he said for him it was after their conversation on the day beds, which was that kind of around the same time, or is it the same conversation?
They talk on the day beds all the time. I was
That
like,
part. So I
which
was
time
like,
on the
which
day
one
beds,
was it?
Johnny? Which
Um,
time? I don't know what you're talking about.
He did say though when he had told her he was falling, which I remember that was kind of early-ish on, or maybe in the middle. He really wanted to say I love you, but wanted to wait for the perfect moment. And this is where I'm
Mm,
like, okay, you're a little calculated and a little like, be honest, Johnny. Like I'm kind of like, if you feel it, say it. Like, why do you have to wait for this
yeah.
perfect moment? The perfect moment should just be any moment, you
He's
know?
got some love bombing tendencies. Like, I want to tell her, but we got to do it big. And it's like, that's cool, but you don't always have to do that because then it feels love
We need to
bombing.
do a scavenger hunt.
So, all of you need to wear black and white. And here's
And here's what you
long
do.
john tiny shorts.
That was funny when they said that. Um, but Cely cries and says he is so much more than she could ever have imagined for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both excited for the real world. They
Mm-hmm.
dance on the stage. It's sweet. It's
It was cute.
romantic. It was cute.
So, Brandon, which date do you think who should? I don't think the people who got the dates they got should have gotten those dates. So, if we could reorder them, who should have gotten which date? I want to see what you think.
I would just switch um Cely and Johnny with Justine and Caleb.
That's what I was thinking. And I was like, maybe even give Moira can have her seafood. That's fine.
I was, that part, I was like, you know what? They could keep that. It was a funny oyster moment. They were cute.
Yeah.
They looked dapper.
Yeah. I was
But
like, some of these dates are greater than others.
no, I'm like,
I
these
don't give a
night
fuck what
dates, I would
Carrington has
much
to do.
rather have those dance and like dress all nice and
Yeah.
all this. Why am I going in a
Yeah.
fucking helicopter or like getting dirt all over me driving a
Right.
Ferrari here?
They
Like,
had
what
a
are we
whole
doing?
coliseum to themselves. I
A
don't care
picnic
that
in the
Car
sun?
No, I wouldn't waste a dime on Carrington. Give him the car. But everybody else, I was like, these
Right.
dates are not equal. And I kind of felt like that last season, right? Like,
It
um,
did.
it
Leah
was
and
like the move,
Miguel's was kind of like,
well, the horseback riding, right?
no, they did
Oh, doom buggies
yes.
to a
And then
spot,
Nicole and Kendall went parasailing, which was like
parasailing,
fun. But like it was
low budget
Cordell and
dates.
Serena had the sweet like the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then Janae
They had the
and
room of
Kenny.
affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she could just yap the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just
She's
nice.
like, Kenny, let's read this one. It's about me. Oh,
Let's read
Kenny,
this.
here's another one. It's about me.
Oh, I love them. Those three
Me
couples are
too.
standing strong. PPG still remains on top. All right, y'all. It's time for the final episode of Love Island USA Season 2, Episode 34. The winner takes it all. Or do they?
Mhm.
Everyone wakes up. It's the final day. Calvin and Moira randomly decide to take a steamy shower
That was
outside.
so random. They didn't say nothing. We just saw them,
They're like,
and
quick, let's look hot outside in the shower.
they're all soapy and like making out and stuff. And I'm like,
I mean, they look
okay.
good, but shocking for Calvin since he usually doesn't like such public affection, as we remember.
He really switched up on us.
He did. Um, the girls agree it wasn't just Love Island, it was Friend Island. And it's time for brunch. Sally feels like everyone's a winner. Everyone's just having excited about the real world, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb was impressed. Justine was transparent about having a tough time in here in the beginning. Because as we remember, Justine was going through it. I think it was episode 1, she was
Yeah.
crying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But then this is where Carrington gets a text and they find out. It's finale night. Or I guess they would have known that, but it's just
Yeah,
an
they knew that
official
because they woke up saying like
declaration.
it's our last day.
Yes. So why did they send, I guess that for the show they sent a text. I'm like,
Yeah, the
we know
show
it's the
wanted
finale.
everybody to say it's finale day. Woo! And then more texts come after.
Right. And then Laurel gets a text. It's time for the girls to get ready. And
Hmm.
Johnny asked the guys to take a final selfie. Of course. He's like, let's commemorate the best people that were on this villa. But they get a text where they must write their declarations of love,
Hmm.
which are basically vows at this point.
Basically.
The girls go to pick out dresses and also write the declarations of love. And Laurel
Hmm.
sees pink and she's like, oh my gosh, it's pink. I love pink. I should wear pink. And they're like, you
I like
should.
I like that we got to see them get ready because on season 6, I was like, they didn't have those suits. They gave them those suits, right? And we were
Yeah,
speculating like how that worked. So it was cool to see the behind the scenes this time.
it was. And then, because then Caleb gets a text for them to get their suits. And
Hmm.
I liked Calvin's the best.
Yeah,
I
the
liked the pink.
silvery. Oh, the
It was like
pink,
it was like a
yes.
light pink, but I maybe a little
Hmm.
silvery
It was like
too.
a metallic pink.
Yeah, it was
That's what we'll
nice. I
say.
was like, okay, Calvin.
Yeah, suave.
But everyone looked good for the most part. I won't hate. Finale. Laurel comes in Ariana red, and I was like, okay, Laurel, you look good. This was not what I
Hmm.
expected.
Hmm.
Cely comes down in black and gold. She looks nice. I kind of wish she would have done something a little different with her hair, but that's just me. Moira has like colorful sequins. I was like, could have done better. And then Justine has a royal purple, and she looked nice.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite?
I honestly didn't think any of them stood out that much. The girls, sorry. Like Moira looks like how she looks every night. She looks great, but it didn't look any different. You know what I mean? And
I
I didn't like Justine's dress. Honestly, or Cely's, you're right. And I don't remember Laurel's. So
I thought they could have all done a lot better, but I did like
Yeah.
Laurel shockingly the best
Yeah.
because I was like her hair was up. It was just different and not what I expected, and she looked good in red.
Yeah, I feel like for the finale, you got to do it up. They need to give them a hairdresser next time so they could do it up a little bit. I did
Right.
like Caleb's suit. The blue I thought looked nice on him.
It was
And then
good.
I didn't care what Johnny and Carrington looked like.
I don't remember. I think Carrington wore white.
Yeah, he did have a white one.
Um, but they all toast to love.
Mm.
And then is this where Ariel shows up and she's
No,
like,
they do their declarations first.
oh, the declarations. Okay, I got confused because I have them spaced out between each person and then I forgot.
Oh, okay.
But then Cely and Johnny go first.
Hmm.
And Cely says, Johnny, you gave me my most beautiful love story. And I've learned what makes Johnny Johnny. And it's the beginning of jelly.
This
And I'm
is
like,
stupid.
I hate this.
When you say it all together, it's just like, huh?
And honestly, there wasn't much. I try to get the key highlights of each speech. So
Yeah,
if there's
me too.
anything, let me know. But
I
honestly,
mean,
they weren't that long. So like they
no, they
kind
weren't. It was like, get up, have a moment. It's Johnny and Sally's turn, and they get up, they stand, we pan around, they talk for 6 seconds and sit down. It's like all the anticipation for nothing.
yeah.
But she did say, which was really sad to me. She's like, when I first met you, you told me that you wanted to show me a fairy tale love, and I think you have. You wanted to show me that fairy tales exist, and I think you have. And I was like, damn. Y'all got them saying all kinds of shit before we get to see them in the real world. That's
Th-
crazy.
that is, and I'm like, this isn't this ain't a fairy tale. This is a small town. Taylor Swift White Horse. She also didn't sing that song. Um, but
Wow.
I'm just like, and I know we don't see everything,
Yeah.
but it's kind of just like sometimes 2 plus 2 just equals 4. If you have
Mm-hmm.
these doubts and if people are saying these things, believe them,
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
tough because we see Cely in moments defend herself and be like, no, don't talk to me like that. You can't do that. But I think that she's a little too forgiving. Um, and I mean, she'll
Yeah,
learn. She'll learn. It's not the end of the world. She doesn't marry him. So that's okay.
exactly. So, all in all, it's fine.
A
But
lot of people have dated the wrong guy at the wrong time. It's all right.
yeah, Johnny says that he always gets lost in the moment with her and is overwhelmed by emotions. She's his ride or die, and the Bonnie to his Clyde.
Woo! Why?
I
Because you're a criminal? Why? Because you know you're a bad person?
criminality?
Why are you Clyde?
Why gotta be this extreme? Why can't we
Well,
have a
you're so,
nice example?
so are you acknowledging that you're dishonest?
Fraudulent. Laurel and Carrington, they're
Oh
up next.
gosh.
And Laurel's like, I always dream of a perfect love story, but I've learned it's not simple. And I've never felt this deeply about someone in my 22 years. And I'm like, damn, you're only 22. Thank God you're young.
Yeah,
You'll
poor
get over this.
girl. She's young. It's okay. She said she's dreamed of perfect and is comforted by the imperfect. And I'm like, that's what kept you up at night, sis. Yeah,
Comforted. You almost
somebody
left.
right. Reroll the clip. She left on almost left on several occasions. I'm comforted by the imperfect. Are you now? That wouldn't give me any comfort. To see my man torn up between me and another girl for several days and then finally picking me, I don't know how I feel.
It's like, I get it. We often want like what we can't have, or like if there's
Hmm.
someone that like, oh, they're not giving me attention or whatever, we're like, I want to be with them or I want to win them over.
Yeah.
It's just hard with Carrington because I'm like, okay, you won, but he provides no reassurance. So it's just
You've said
constant like, well, maybe this time he will.
And then he had a period of time where he was mean to you, which you acknowledged, verbalized on TV. Then he was nice for a couple days, and then he decided to go pick Lakin and date Lakin for a little bit, and has come back to be the same lackluster dude. And your parents were like, "We were worried about you." Like all signs point to this isn't great, but I think because she's on TV, she's sticking it out.
I guess we'll see.
Hmm.
But Carrington says he saw her beauty at first sight, and she's sheer perfection, and he can't help but think about their future. He can't wait to miss each other enough to move in together. And I love that non-commitment to commitment.
Basically, his requirements. I can't wait to see if we will miss each other to the point where we'll want to move in together. And
I
I can't wait
don't
to visit you.
I don't want to move in with you now. I don't like you that much, and like we're not together. But I'm interested and excited to see if maybe off chance we leave here and I miss you to the point where I'm like, I could live with her.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Uh,
Carrington.
thanks, Carrington. Which is crazy. She's completely ignored the fact that he's blatantly like, nah, I'm good.
She's
No,
like,
I don't
she's
think
the
I want to
definition
explore
of,
this.
so you're saying there's a chance. And it's like, Justine and Caleb are next. I'm a little surprised they weren't last, but whatever.
Yeah.
Justine says he helped
Oh,
her
Brandon,
Oh,
they're going
yes.
in reverse date order
Are they?
because it's Celine Carrington. Oh, no, they're not. Never mind.
I
They
love
do that
how
at the end. They do it at
Maggie
the end.
always tries
They're
to find a connection.
no, their interviews are in reverse date order. Because Cely and
Okay.
Johnny go first, and then Moira, and then Justine, and
What
then
was the
Carrington is
last
last.
connection you tried to make? It was some name of something.
Oh, I was trying to see if Love Island was making a triangle with
Oh,
the
yeah.
number of episodes, and I was off.
Justine and Caleb are next. And Justine says he helped her redefine love, and he challenged and grounded her and reminded her how to love herself. And she thanks him for showing love is not a race, but a journey. I'm like, this is sweet.
It was, and he's like, "That was good. That was good." They're all clapping for her, and I'm like, "Yay!"
And then he goes and he says, watching her evolve has been the greatest joy in his experience. She's generous, fun, nurturing, loving, gracious, etc. She's a light that makes everyone she interacts with better. And that was very sweet and very,
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I'm a little like, the first part was like, I've loved watching you evolve. It's a very, like, is it condescending?
Do you think so?
No, I mean, maybe I'm taking into effect what happens after, but I'm just
It's hard.
like,
It's hard for Brandon to look past those things.
I'm glad that you got on my level in like a
What?
maturity and evolution.
I think he means that like at first she was like kind of not really talking to him, maybe kind of
Let
shy,
her guard
standoffish.
down.
She let her guard down.
Maybe I
She's
just don't like the word
vulnerable.
evolve. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking into account what happens after, and
Yeah.
I shouldn't be Caleb, not for this
No,
moment. So you know
not
what?
for this moment.
I'll take it slightly back for this speech, but just know I still know.
I thought you were gonna comment on how he said the king and queen have a strong foundation to their castle. And you'd be like, the castle where his girlfriend lives.
Wait, no lie.
Did you say
When
that?
I wrote, not him saying the king and queen can conquer any storm. Can they conquer your girlfriend? That's funny that you knew.
Oh, you're a troll. I love it.
Moira and Calvin are last, and Moira says she had walls and he broke them down day by day. He's the cheerleader she never knew she needed. I love that line for some
How I
reason.
would feel about being called a cheerleader as a man.
Guys can be cheerleaders,
Yeah, but
Maggie.
like support system, comfort,
I mean,
um, peace.
I love that this is Maggie's evolve.
Yes, babe, I'm
She's
getting
like,
caught
how
up
dare
on
you? I'm like, this is
semantics.
the sweetest comment. Like, that's so sweet. You're the cheerleader I never knew I needed. Like, oh my gosh. And Maggie's like, a
No,
cheerleader.
that's funny. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
would
think
say support system or like comfort
maybe
or sense of security.
there was a more way, a different way, I guess she could have said it. But
It doesn't
I
matter.
liked it. For Moira, I was like, oh, Moira, because she's been guarded. And now she's
Yeah, she
like,
doesn't talk about her feelings much. And he's
yeah,
like, Miss Moira, I'm about to rip your declaration to shreds with this
right.
wonderful poem.
Yeah, he did like a long ass poem. I didn't write it down because I was like,
Yeah,
this is
something
too many
about
words.
sapphire.
But it was sweet. And he's like, before he said, oh, it's been long since someone brought out the hopeless romantic in him. But he did when he's reading the poem, he does get on his knees at one point. And he's like, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, guys. I'm just kidding, Miss Moira.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was funny. But it was sweet. I like their speech.
No, it was his was really nice. It was just too long to write down. But
It
great job,
was. I
Calvin.
was
Great
like, I'm
job.
not doing that.
Well
But
done,
great.
Calvin. I knew you would do great.
We love a poet. Ariel enters, and this is where
Oh my
she's like,
gosh.
I'm going to bring each couple to have a slight chat with you, and we're gonna show a montage of everyone. And that's that. And I'm like, this is stupid and unnecessary, but
So
whatever.
dumb. So dumb.
But Celine and Johnny are first. It shows their montage, just everything we've seen throughout the
Mm-hmm.
season.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell Ariel they didn't expect to make it this far, and the biggest struggle was overcoming their test. And
That's a
Johnny
great
feels
way
like
to
they already
say.
won. I know, right? What a twist.
We call it a test, not Paso
No, what a
Moore when he was
spin.
not his
These
infidelity,
tests.
not his discretion.
Very
A
Laurel
test.
coded in its wording.
Yeah.
These
We
tests.
experienced a couple of tests. And she's like, "Do you think you're gonna win?" And Johnny's like, "We won already," or whatever, like you said. And I'm like, that's a cop out because you know you lost.
Right. He's like, I know we're not
That's
going
what
to win because
people.
of Casa, but we won already because of love.
Yeah. Honestly, what if that's really what Johnny's most upset about for this whole thing? He's like, Sally's good. I'm good with her. But man, I could have had $100,000, split it with her if I felt like it. 50, at least 50K. I fumbled the
Yeah,
bag. I feel like that's what he's most upset about.
most likely. Because I always forget that there's a cash prize at the end of this.
Yes.
Moira and Calvin go. And they talk about how he made her his famous grilled cheese, and
Hmm.
that Casa Amor was a turning point for them. And it took other people for them to realize what they had all along. And that's where I was like, that was quite a spin as well. But
Yeah.
I like y'all, so I'm okay with it.
No, it's okay.
Justine and Caleb go. They talk about how she doubted herself at first, and he said she was always on her radar, his radar. The car wash challenge changed everything, and their highest
Hmm.
moment was their final date.
Hmm.
And then Laurel and Carrington.
This one is so funny to me. So Laurel is the sole survivor of Casa Amor, the sole survivor. 10
She
people
is.
came in, or 12. One came out. It was Laurel.
And he says he wishes Laurel was there since the first day. And I'm like,
Hmm.
why? So you
Hmm.
could have like found a reason not to like her sooner.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Ariel asked them, "What's your highlight moment? We're here at the fire pit where a lot of decisions have been made. What's your highlight?"
and it's like, um, the fire pit ceremony where he chose me over Lakin. And I'm like, that's the highlight.
And then Carrington answered first and just said something about leaving a better man. He didn't even answer the question.
He's like,
He's
I
like,
came in a
"Yes,
boy and
here."
I'm leaving a man.
He's like, "Here at this spot, I had to make a lot of decisions that were very hard, but I think they matured me and I'm leaving a man." Way to not answer the question, Governor Carrington.
Right.
You can't even say a highlight with Laurel because there are any. There aren't any, excuse me.
There are. I'm surprised he didn't bring up the Ferrari, but what was it, something Ariel was like, let's go see like how this is gonna like turn out. And Carrington goes, I think I know how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, he says that.
I'm like, that's funny. Um, but they go and it's time for the results.
Yes. I want to know your guesses before you say who you thought. Like, who did you think would be
Ugh,
fourth?
this is hard because I knew who got fourth
Oh,
because
you did?
when I was looking up pictures for a thumbnail, it like
Hmm.
said in like an article title. I'm like, what the fuck, y'all? But I
Then
guess
maybe
I
people
would
were
have
really
guessed
pressed about Carrington.
they were, but I guess I would have
Yeah.
guessed they would have been fourth, Carrington and Laurel.
Yeah, that was my guess too, and they were fourth.
Now, third and second, I
You
wasn't
weren't sure.
sure. I kind of was like, I was holding space for Moira and Calvin to get second.
Me too. I really thought, I guess Johnny and Cely for third place, but it turned out to be Moira and Calvin.
Yeah, and she says winning Calvin was the real prize and that they're going to continue to chase moments outside the villa. I was like, okay. They break up. They all do, as we've said. And the
Well, I
winners
don't
are
know. The winners are drum roll.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Justine and Caleb.
Justine and Caleb win.
Woo!
Woo!
Very predictable from the edit.
Yeah.
I knew they were gonna win too because I remember when Love Island was happening this season, it was during COVID and it was like big on Twitter and everyone wanted them to win.
Oh, yay.
So I saw when they won, so I was just like, that's nice. And then Cely and Johnny got second. So
Yeah.
I mean, the right people won, I would say.
Hmm.
So it worked out in the end.
And they split the money.
They
So,
did. Forgot about that part where it's like, so are you gonna take the money or are you gonna split it? And they split it. And it's like, okay. You did come here for love. I'm like,
mhm.
you guys never even mention any at any point throughout the entire fucking season that
That they'll
there's
have
like
a
cash
decision.
prize that not only is like cash but like a decision. So like what do you like there's no premise where it's just like at any part at any episode it's just like, but are they here for love or for
Right.
money?
Like you could like if they really wanted to do it like that, they could put money and have challenges where you win money and like make it seem like you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know if
Yeah.
she likes me or if it's just because we win all of these things. But no, they leave it till the very end and they're like, "Will you choose?" And I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah.
But anyway, Jelly or Justine and Caleb, what do we call them? Oh no, it was Jelly, not
Is it J-Lub?
J-Love. Yes, they won.
Okay.
So
They
now we have
won.
to do some digging to find out what happened to these people.
We do. I try to see with Justine and Caleb because they broke up rather quickly. I think by December.
Oof. When did it air?
I think it's summer. So like
Oh,
maybe
right.
we'll give them end of July.
Yeah.
But I think I even read somewhere that they broke up before that, but announced it later.
Yeah, we'll do some digging. I don't really see much here.
You know,
That's crazy. That wouldn't happen in 2024. I mean, yeah,
what wouldn't?
I feel like people really, I mean, I guess you can just not say anything and nobody cares. But I feel
Oh,
like
people not being clear about the reasons.
or at least just getting online and saying something, right? Nicole spilling her all the tea on the vial files,
No,
right?
you're
Like
right. They would find
somebody,
these days, they would find some podcast or make a YouTube
yes,
video.
to say something. Freaking what's his name? Kane even spoke out about his experience.
TikTok live,
In
like
2024,
something.
we will say something.
Call her daddy.
Millennials, they're like, nah, we got to keep this to ourselves.
Right.
Gen, what was it? Are they Gen Z? The people who just went in through like Serena and them?
It might be.
Well, we're not that much older than them.
No, they're like in
I
mid
don't know.
20s. But
Yeah,
regardless, so that was it for
that
Love
was
Island
it.
USA season 2. It's been quite the journey. I enjoyed the season, but it was just long. It was just a
I enjoyed it
lot.
too. I remember I'm thinking back to our first episode and we were both cracking up at how ridiculous everybody was. Like
They
they were really
were.
some characters.
There was quite some characters, and
Yeah,
that still rang true through the very end, I
I
will
agree.
say.
I agree.
So, yeah, enjoyed
Yeah.
it. What's next for us, Maggie?
I mean, we're watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We did one episode so far, so we'll finish that and then kind of see what else is gonna come out after that.
Yeah, I will say, and I'll make a public proclamation on the podcast. I do think we should, maybe not in detail, but we should touch on Potomac.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It's good this season. You haven't even
Okay.
watched it. I can't. I won't let this
That's
happen. I won't
fine.
let
No,
you.
there's only two episodes. I'll watch it with you.
It is like it just started. It's actually really Maggie, I promise. I know the last season was rough, but this
I
season's
mean, I
actually
haven't
good.
watched. I'll watch though. It's fine. Brandon, I'll watch. It's fine.
Yeah.
Lately though, however, comma, period. I I have been watching 90 Day Fiance
Oh
and it
God.
is so good.
Is
It's
it?
so good. It's so freaking good.
Are you
I think
saying
you
you
would like it.
wanna
I
cover
want
it
you to
on the
watch. I
pod?
no, but you
Oh,
should watch an episode or two. I don't think that's our vibe.
it's not, but I will watch because I've heard.
I mean, I wouldn't be bad to talk about. You watch an episode of the one I'm
Yeah.
on and see what you think. But I actually, it's actually real. It's just entertaining, man. Like, and I'm like, there's no way you guys all made these terrible choices. I do want to watch Potomac. I'll check it out, and we can kind of like talk about it on the side.
They dropped the taglines.
Oh, really?
They did.
Wait, when they have already? Aren't they two
They're
episodes
doing
in?
it later these I don't know why. Like some
Oh,
housewives, like Salt Lake City, they waited like 3 or 4 episodes to drop the taglines. I don't
so in the
understand
beginning,
it.
there's no intro
Yeah,
other
there's
than
like
like
no
their
intro.
oh
I don't get it. But they've been
hmm.
doing it more and more. They did it with New York, but I think that's because New York has nothing going on, so they needed something.
But the taglines at the beginning, yeah, no one's gonna watch. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, please release the taglines early. Get them excited.
hmm
Um, But with that being said, y'all, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank y'all so much for listening. I'm so excited to get back in the groove with this. We've had a little bit of a break, but I've missed y'all and I missed you, Maggie. It's been too
I missed you
long.
too, Brandon, and I get
Uh,
to see you this week.
oh, yes, with the gym. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much
hmm
fun. We're getting back to where we started.
hmm
Uh, But thank y'all so much again. Make sure to rate and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a review. We love reviews.
Yes, please.
If you would like to watch our beautiful faces instead of just listening, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Shade of It All podcast. Love those. You can follow us on TikTok at the Shade of It All podcast, Instagram at the Shade of It All pod, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.